All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to put on our hard hats, grab the blueprints, and talk about building a better website. We're not just talking about design, we're talking about the actual architecture, the thing that holds it all together, your internal linking strategy.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever poured hours, maybe even days, into crafting this amazing piece of content, only to have it completely disappear into the digital maze of your own website? It's so frustrating, right? It feels like you've built this beautiful room, but nobody can ever find the door.
And that's really the big idea for today. I want you to start thinking of your website as a house. Your pages, those are the rooms, full of all your valuable stuff. But your internal links? Well, they're the blueprint. They're the hallways, the doorways, the staircases that connect everything and give the whole place a logical flow. Without a good blueprint, you don't have a house. You just have a jumbled mess of rooms.
Okay, so here's our construction plan. First up, we're going to lay the foundation, which is all about user experience. Then, we'll look at the blueprint itself, how we structure content and value. After that, it's time for an inspection, where we check the rules and make sure everything's accessible. And finally, we'll step back and take a look at the finished website.
All right, let's break ground. We're kicking things off with section 1, the foundation. Because just like any good house, a really great website has to be built on a solid user experience.
So, why start here? Why is user experience the absolute foundation? It's actually pretty simple. Search engines have one main job, to make their customers happy. And who's their customer? The searcher. When someone clicks a link and has a great experience, the search engine looks good. So they absolutely care about the experience you're providing.
And here's what that looks like. A solid foundation, we're talking solid ground here, is made of valuable content with a clear purpose. A cracked foundation, well, that's thin content, way too many ads, or those annoying pop-ups that just make you want to leave immediately. And when a visitor lands on that cracked foundation, what do? They bounce. They hit that back button almost instantly and go right back to the search results. Now, this sends a huge signal to the search engine. It basically says, hey, this house isn't very welcoming. The foundation's weak, and I didn't find what I was looking for.
Okay, our foundation is solid. Now it's time to pull out the plans. This is section 2, the blueprint, where we're going to focus on how we actually structure all of our content.
Now, to really understand the blueprint, we need to get this one key idea, link value. Think of it like the electrical wiring in your house. It's the authority, the power or juice that flows from one page to another through every single link. The more of this value a page has, the more important it looks to search engines.
And if you have a messy electrical plan with wires going all over the place, you just dilute the power, right? It's the exact same thing with your website. A cluttered navigation with 100 different links on every page just spreads that link value way too thin. A clean, logical navigation, on the other hand, concentrates that power, channeling it directly to your most important pages, the main rooms of your house.
So how do we actually design this? Well, you think like an architect. You start with a big, broad topic. That's your main living room. From there, you link down to more specific subtopics, like the entertainment center in that room. And from there, you can drill down even deeper to a super specific detail, like the TV remote. See? It's just a natural, logical flow from general to specific. And the payoff for all this careful planning? It's huge. This kind of logical structure builds what we call topical relevance. It signals to search engines that you're an authority on the entire topic, not just one little keyword. And that helps you rank for everything, from those really broad general searches all the way down to those super specific long-tail questions. All right, the foundation is poured, the blueprint is clear. Now comes the part every builder loves, section 3, the inspection. Every good project has to pass inspection, and for a website, that means following the rules and making sure everything's easy to access. So let's talk about a really common issue an inspector might flag. What happens if, for a perfectly good reason, you need 2 rooms in your house to look exactly the same? In the website world, we call this duplicate content. And this isn't always a mistake. Not at all. There are a ton of legitimate reasons for it. Maybe you're in an industry where you're required to use specific legal text, or you run an e-commerce store and you list the same product in a few different categories. It happens all the time. So, the tool we use for this kind of inspection is called the canonical tag. It's really just a simple piece of code that acts like a label. It basically tells the search engine, hey, I know these 2 pages look identical, But this one over here, that's the master copy. Pay attention to that one. It just clears up any confusion so you don't split your value. And just like that tag gives clear instructions, the last part of our inspection is about making sure all the hallways are wide open and easy to get through. See, search engines use these little automated bots to explore your site, but they only have a limited amount of time. That's their crawl budget. A site with a clean, logical structure is like a house with open hallways. A messy site with dead ends just wastes that budget, and some of your best rooms might never even get discovered. We've laid the foundation, we've followed the blueprint, and we've passed the inspection. So now let's step back and admire the final product. In Section 4, your finished website.
You know, this quote really nails the modern approach. We're getting past the days of trying to find some secret loophole or trick to game the system. Today, what's good for your users is almost always what's good for search engines. It really just comes down to logic and common sense.
And that's really the key to our whole project here. It's not about secret hacks, it's about solid architecture. We started with a great user experience as our foundation. We drafted a clear blueprint with a logical content structure, and we passed a technical inspection to make sure every door was open. When you get all three of those things right, you've built something that works beautifully for both people and search engines.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about for your own site. Take a step back and look at the structure you've built. Is your website's front door obvious and easy to find, or are your visitors constantly getting lost in the hallway? The answer to that question could be the key to unlocking your site's true potential.